Hello everyone. So in our last class we have discussed about the phenomena of electromagnetic induction, according to which whenever there is change in the magnetic field around a coil or current or simple conductor, then there is the EMF which is induced in the coil or a conductor. So that phenomena of induction of EMF in a conductor, whenever the magnetic field linked to it is changed, then the phenomena it is called as electromagnetic induction. Faraday has observed this phenomena first through his experiments. He made few experiments to understand the phenomena of electromagnetic induction. He was of the opinion that if a current flowing in a conductor can produce the magnetic field, then the magnetic field should also have the tendency or ability to produce the current. So is this phenomena of electromagnetic induction. Based on his studies and experiments, he gave laws of the electromagnetic induction, which we have summed up in our earlier class. So, what is the first law according to Faraday of electromagnetic induction? We have summed up in our last day. Let us just recapitulate it for a few seconds. The very first law, it is about that whenever there is a change in the magnetic field, or we can say magnetic flux linked with a circuit or we can say a coil, conductor in the form of a coil. So, whenever magnetic flux or magnetic field linked with that coil or associated with that coil, or we can say around that coil changes, an EMF is induced in the coil, due to which some current starts flowing in the coil. And there is one more point in the first law, or this point may be put in as a second law in some textbooks. So, there is no difference. So, this induced EMF lasts or sustains till the magnetic flux keeps on changing. As soon as the magnetic flux stops changing, means it becomes constant, howsoever large it may be, that is not important here. So, whenever magnetic flux stops changing, the current or we can say EMF which is induced, it also starts becoming 0. It becomes 0. So, that is what the first law of Faraday about electromagnetic induction says. It is simple law that whenever magnetic flux linked with a coil changes, then there will be some EMF which will be induced in the coil, which causes the current to flow in the coil, and this induced EMF lasts as long as the magnetic flux keeps on changing. Second law simply of the Faraday gives the relationship between the EMF induced and the flux changed. It simply says that the EMF which is induced, it will be directly proportional to the rate at which flux changes. Now, this rate is something, the flux of change in the magnetic flux in a given time. So, that rate of change of flux, it is called as the change of flux in 1 unit of time. So, second law of Faraday says that the EMF which is induced in above process, it will be directly proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux. So, that means higher is the rate of change of flux, means quickly the flux changes. The rate of change of flux d phi upon dt, this is the rate of change of flux. It will be higher, that means it will be higher if more change in flux is taking place in less time. That means if flux changes quickly, there is quick motion, relative motion between the coil and the source of the magnetic field. So, whenever there are quick relative motions between the two, a coil and the source of magnetic field, then the rate of change of flux will be higher. And Faraday's second law has observed that this induced EMF, it will be directly proportional to that rate of change of flux. That means, if rate of change of flux is higher, means flux changes quickly, the EMF induced will be more. Okay. So, from here we write an equation for induced EMF according to the Faraday's law, which is according to this formula. So, induced EMF E, it is equal to minus k d phi upon dt. D phi upon dt is the rate of change of flux, and k is the constant of proportionality which comes from the proportionality equation, and the units of induced EMF, flux and the time are so chosen that the value of k remains 1, right. So, it is just induced EMF, it is just given by E is equal to minus of d phi upon dt. In some books this is capital E here, and in some books it is small e here. So, there is no difference, you can keep it to be small e. So, this is what Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction says. So, induced EMF according to Faraday's law, it is nothing but minus d phi upon dt, rate of change of flux. Here minus sign is used to regard the Lenz rule, which will be discussed in just one step after. So, this minus sign suggests here is, it suggests that the EMF will be induced in such a direction, so that it opposes the rate of change of flux, right. So, that means if there is some rate of change of flux, if rate of change of flux is increasing, the EMF will be induced, so that it opposes the rate of change of flux. So, that it in other way we can say that this induced EMF, it will try to decrease that rate of change of flux, either increase or decrease. So, that is what this minus sign signifies here. So, this equation can also be written as minus of phi 2 minus phi 1, which simply is the change in flux divided by time t in which it is taking place. So, this is the Faraday's law, and then we have discussed about Fleming's left hand rule, which gives Fleming's right hand rule, which gives the direction of the induced EMF or current. Okay. Now, let us take Lenz rule, for which the Faraday has put a minus sign in its expression for induced EMF. So, what is this Lenz rule or Lenz law? It simply says that, as appears from the equation of induced EMF from the Faraday's second law, that the EMF induced in a coil due to changing flux around it, it will be opposing the change in flux. So, that means the EMF which is induced in the coil on the account of changing flux around the coil, it is opposing the change which is producing the induced EMF. यानी कि एक तरह से अपने ही जिस वजह से ये प्रोड्यूस हो रही है, उस वजह को ही ये क्या कर रहा है, इंड्यूस्ड EMF अपोज कर रहा है, राइट. So, the direction of induced EMF or induced current is such that it opposes the change that is producing it. So, that is what Lenz rule or Lenz law says, that induced EMF is induced in the coil, it is okay at the expense of changing flux, but to which direction? The direction of induced EMF according to Lenz rule, it is in such a way so that it opposes the cause which produces it. So, this is Lenz rule. So, we can apply the Lenz rule. Okay, to make the Lenz rule more clear to understand, I am putting this picture here. So, Lenz rule says that it opposes its own cause. So, what does that mean in physics, or physically what it results into? So, here is the the diagram according to Faraday's experiment. So, whenever there is the relative motion between the coil and the source of the magnetic field, here we are taking it to be magnetic, there will be EMF which is induced in the coil, and the galvanometer shows some deflection due to that current. Okay. So, here in this diagram, this magnet, it is the north pole of this magnet, it is approaching this coil, means it is moving towards the coil. So, that means the flux will change, it will increase, right, and if the north pole moves away, the flux will decrease. So, is the case whenever we bring the south pole towards the coil or away from the coil. So, let us take this case of that the north pole of the magnet is being brought close to the coil. Then according to Faraday's law, EMF will be induced, of course, and according to Lenz's rule, this EMF will be opposing its own cause. So, what is causing this induced EMF? How this EMF is induced in the coil? Because the north pole of the magnet is approaching towards the coil. So, this is the reason, because due to this the flux linked with the coil is changing. So, everything in physics, it is about the change in flux actually, by whatever mean it may takes place. Okay. So, that means here the cause which is causing the induced EMF, which is producing the EMF, actually produced word is not correct, which will be discussed here, induce EMF. So, that is the word we use here. So, whenever the north pole of the magnet it approaches, it moves towards the coil, it induces the EMF. Now comes the Lenz rule. According to that rule, Lenz rule, this EMF will be flowing in this coil in such a way so that it opposes the motion of this north pole of the magnet towards itself, so that it opposes the north pole away. So, in this present situation, it is possible only when this face of the coil can behave as a north pole, because north pole will be repelled away only by a north pole, like pole, right. So, the current, or we can say EMF, it is induced in such a way so that it produces the current in the coil, so that this face to which the north pole of the magnet is approaching, this face of the coil, it will act as the north pole, right. So, as seen from the right side, if we observe this coil from the right side, the current should flow in anti-clockwise direction, so that it behaves as a north pole. So, whenever it behaves as a north pole, it will produce its magnetic field, own magnetic field along this direction, which will oppose the magnetic field lines, or we can say magnetic field of the magnet. So, whenever the current in this coil flows in anti-clockwise direction, the face to which the magnet is approaching, it will act as the north pole, and this north pole of the coil, it will oppose the north pole of the magnet in approaching the coil. So, this is how Lenz rule works, and if suppose that this north pole it is moving away, you can take this arrow to be in opposite direction. So, if this north pole it is moving away, that means the magnetic field is decreasing around the coil, or we can say magnetic flux is decreasing. So, current will be flowing in the coil in such a way so that the coil opposes, or we can say this current or EMF induced in the coil, it opposes the decrease in the flux. This can be done only whenever the coil, or we can say that EMF or coil, it can oppose the north pole of the magnet moving away, means it will attract the north pole, so that north pole does not move away, and hence the magnetic flux does not change. So, changing magnetic flux, which is the cause, it is now opposed. So, therefore, the current will flow in this coil in clockwise direction, because if the coil wants the north pole not to move away, then it should act as the south pole, because south pole will attract the north pole of the magnet, right. So, the current in the coil now, as seen from the right side, it will now flow in the clockwise direction. So, whenever current in the coil flows in clockwise direction, the magnetic field due to it appears to be such a way, so that the face appears to be south pole. Magnetic field जो है इसकी, it will be entering, जो इसमें produce होगी, इसमें induced EMF की वजह से, it will be entering the coil, which will oppose the north pole in moving away. So, this is how Lenz rule is Lenz rule works, or Lenz rule gives the direction of the EMF induced. So, it is very simple that whenever the EMF is induced in the coil at the expense of changing flux, then the direction of this induced EMF, it is given by the Lenz rule, which says that the induced EMF will oppose, induced EMF will flow in a direction so that it can oppose its own cause, right. So, this is the Lenz rule. Okay, so here EMF is induced in the coil. So that means we are not spending any kind of energy, but we are getting the electric current, or we can say induced EMF. So that would have violated the law of conservation of energy, but Lenz rule has overcome this difficulty, and it is existing here. So how Lenz rule and law of conservation of energy are existing together means law of conservation of energy is not violated in the phenomena of electromagnetic induction. So how Lenz rule answers that the law of conservation of energy is not violated? As said by the Lenz rule, that the direction of induced EMF will be such a way so that it opposes, I am using the word again, opposes its own cause, right. That means if we are interested in inducing the EMF, then we have to spend some energy to overcome that opposition, right. We have to overcome that opposition offered by the induced EMF. So this says that we have to spend some amount of energy in order to bring the magnet towards the coil or away from the coil. We have to do some work, because the coil is opposing the motion of the magnet either towards the coil or away from the coil. So that means we have to do some work, and in order to do that work we have to spend some energy. So on spending some energy, we are able to bring the magnet towards the coil or away from the coil, and hence EMF is induced. So in this way we can understand that EMF is not induced, EMF is induced at the expense of some work done in order to bring the magnet close towards the coil. Okay. So that means the law of conservation of energy is in accordance with the law of Lenz law of electromagnetic induction. Now we can talk about some expressions based on induced EMF, based on both the laws of Faraday's laws and Lenz law. So according to Faraday's law, the very first expression we can talk about, it is the induced EMF, and according to Faraday's law it is given to be E, the induced EMF, it is equal to minus d phi upon dt, which we can also write as minus phi 2 minus phi 1, means that represents the change in flux, magnetic flux, divided by time t. And if there are more number of turns, if there are number of turns more than 1 in the coil, then the induced EMF will be just n times, means number of coil times the EMF induced in the one coil, minus n times d phi upon dt. So this is, so if we want more amount of EMF induced, then we can either change the flux quickly, or we can also increase the number of turns in the coil. Okay. Then what will be the current which will be induced due to this induced EMF? We can write the expression this just as this. So the induced current, it will be equal to EMF which is induced per unit resistance. According to Ohm's law, the current, it is equal to the EMF divided by resistance R, where R is the resistance of the coil. So EMF, which is nothing but minus d phi upon d, so we are dt, so we are writing it in the same step. So this is the value of induced current. And what charge will flow? We can write the expression for that also. The current here in this expression, it is nothing but the rate of flow of charge. So in dt time, how much charge flows? It is given by, so dt just cancels out here. So we are left with only minus d phi upon R, change in flux divided by resistance of the coil. So this is the charge that will flow in this time dt. Okay. So this induced EMF does not depend upon the resistance of the circuit, whereas the induced current does, of course, and induced charge depends upon the resistance. Both induced current and induced charge depends upon the resistance, but induced EMF does not depend upon the resistance. Okay. So how we can produce this induced EMF? Either by changing the magnetic field, or by changing the area of the coil. Suppose that we have a coil and we want to induce the EMF, then we can do that by changing the magnetic field around that coil. Or if the magnetic field is something which is constant, then we can change, then we can just induce the EMF by moving the coil in or out of that magnetic field, right. So, by changing moving the coil in and out of the magnetic field, what will happen? The area which is lying inside the magnetic field, it is changing. Whenever it is outside, the area inside the magnetic field is 0, and whenever this coil is brought in the magnetic field, the area in which the magnetic field is there, it will now increase. So, there is change in the area. So, if there is change in area, we know that the flux will change. So, flux phi, it is equal to the magnetic field B into A. So, that will change A, the area will change, the magnetic flux will change. If the magnetic flux change, of course, the EMF will be induced. So, this is the second way in which we can induce the EMF in the coil. We can induce the EMF by changing the area of the coil available to the magnetic field. So, here in this case, we can discuss what value of EMF will be induced whenever we move a coil in and out of the magnetic field. Moving coil in and out, it will act in the same manner, only the direction of the induced EMF will change. Otherwise, the value of the EMF will remain changed if all other parameters remains same. So, here we take the magnetic field in terms of these crosses. It suggests that the magnetic field is vertically inward direction, perpendicularly inward to the paper. So, here it is the coil PQRS. It has some length PQRS and the width PS and QR. Now, what we are doing? We are moving this coil inside this magnetic field. Earlier, this coil is outside the magnetic field, and whenever we push the coil inside this magnetic field with velocity V. So, the area which is linked with this coil inside the magnetic field, it will keep on changing. So, that area in which the magnetic field is there or magnetic flux is there, it keeps on changing. So, we can write the expression for the magnetic flux to be d phi, which is equal to B into change in area. D phi is the small change in the flux, which is depending upon the change in the area lying in the magnetic field. So, d phi, it is nothing but B into dA. And the third component or we can say third part, cos theta, that part is 1. Why it is 1? Because theta is the angle between the magnetic field and the area vector. Here the coil, it is being moved inside the magnetic field acting perpendicular to the coil. So, that there is 0 angle between the area vector of the coil and the magnetic field. So, cos 0 remains 1. So, that is why the change in flux is nothing but B into dA, right. And what this dA is here? So, this change in area, it takes place because we are pushing the coil inside the magnetic field with velocity V. So, change in area is taking place, and this change in area is taking place at the expense, at the rate of change of this side. It is moving in or out of the magnetic field PQ. It is the PQ side, or we can say PQ length of this coil, which is changing in the magnetic field. Earlier it is less, and whenever this coil is pushed more, the length of this side PQ, which is in the magnetic field, it keeps on increasing. So, the change in flux, or we can say the change in area, it is taking place at the expense of changing PQ side. So, which we can write as how much area, because it is the change in area. So, what is the change in area? One side of the coil inside the magnetic field, which is same L, it is not changing. So, it is L into the other. For example, if Q, this much part of coil it is moved inside, then we are taking this much of length. If more part of this side it is moved inside, then this will be considered. So, dA, it is nothing but I times L times, this is not I, You must keep this thing in mind that this is not I, this is L, this side P s of the coil multiplied by the distance, or we can say length of this side P q, which is moved inside in time dt, right, because it is velocity. So, in time dt, how much length of this side will be moved in? It will be equal to v dt from the formula of velocity, right. So, we can write the displacement, or we can say distance which is moved inside the magnetic field of the coil. So, it is v dt. So, it is area, length into width, which is moved inside the magnetic field in time dt. So, this is the change in flux. Now, we can from here we can take dt to the other side, or we can just find the induced EMF according to that formula. So, it is just induced EMF, it is nothing but d phi upon dt minus d phi upon dt. From here, if we divide both sides by dt, it becomes d phi upon dt. On other side, dt just cancels out. So, it is left only b l into v. So, induced EMF in this case, whenever we move a coil inside or outside a magnetic field, it is given by this formula, E is equal to minus b l v. Keep this thing in mind here, that it is I, sorry, it is L, not I, right. So, this is the EMF which is induced in the second case. This induced EMF, whenever we move the coil in and out of the magnetic field, it is called as motional EMF, because it is induced at the expense of motion of the coil in and out of the magnetic field. That is why it is called as the motional EMF. And the direction of EMF, it will be induced so that it opposes, minus sign here, it suggests that it opposes the motion of this, the motion of the coil, right, velocity of the coil. So, here in this present case, the coil, it is moving inwards. So, EMF will be induced in this coil, so that it opposes this velocity. So, that is why minus sign is here according to Lenz rule. We can also understand it according to the Lenz rule and the Fleming's left hand rule. Suppose that this coil, it is moving as shown in the diagram towards inside the magnetic field with velocity v, whatever it is. So, the direction of motion of the coil is inward the magnetic field. Now, the force on this coil, or we can say on this arm P s, which is inside the magnetic field, it should act so that it acts along the direction opposite to the velocity, means it should act opposite to the motion of the coil. If coil is moving inward, then the force on this P s arm, it should act in outward direction. So, how this will act? This will act according, this you can know with the Lenz rule or by the Fleming's left hand rule. So, you can see that this arm, it is moving, or you can say that the current should flow so that the force on this conductor inside the magnetic field, it will act towards the right. You can apply the Fleming's left hand rule. The forefinger points along the direction of the magnetic field. So, the magnetic field will be perpendicularly inward. So, you hold the we can say forefinger along the direction of the magnetic field, and the thumb towards the direction of the force we want the, or we can say according to Lenz rule, the force will be towards this side opposite to the velocity. So, we are holding the thumb along this direction, then the middle finger will give the direction of the current, right. So, the current will flow from P to S to R to Q to P. So, current will flow in this coil in this direction. So, this is how you apply the Lenz rule and the Fleming's left hand rule in order to know the direction of the induced current. So, this is about Lenz rule. EMF can also be induced by rotating a coil inside the magnetic field. This is the third method in which the EMF can be induced. Suppose that there is some magnetic field just like this from left towards right, and there is coil P Q R S which is rotating inside the magnetic field. So, that means the flux means the magnetic field lines crossing the coil it keeps on changing with the rotation of the coil. So, the magnetic flux linked with n number of such coils, it will be given by n times B into A into cos of theta. This formula we already know, and theta here it is the angle between the area vector, which is a vector normal to the plane of the coil, and the magnetic field. So, this is the angle between the area vector of the coil and the magnetic field, right. So, initially when the coil is perpendicular to the magnetic field is in one direction and the coil is in perpendicular direction to the magnetic fields. In that case, the angle theta it will be 0, because the area vector will make an angle 0 with the magnetic field, as shown in this diagram. Area vector is normal to the plane of the coil. Okay. After time t, after some time has elapsed and coil is rotating, the coil has rotated by some angle, right. So, that angle theta it is given by omega t, where omega is the angular velocity and t is the time for which the coil is rotating, right. So, you can write this expression, this is the angular displacement in that case, in case of a rotating object or a coil, this is the angular displacement and omega is the angular velocity. So, this angular displacement theta it is nothing but omega times t, right. So, after time t, the coil will rotate by this much of angle given by omega t. So, we can write the value of theta to be omega t from here to here. So, therefore, the flux which is associated after time t with the coil, it is given by NBA cos of omega t. Now, if we want the induced EMF, we can simply substitute the value of this flux in this formula as given by the Faraday's law. So, induced EMF E it is given by minus d phi upon dt. So, we substitute the value and we can write that induced EMF it is equal to minus d upon dt of phi, phi is nothing but this much. In this term, which is getting differentiated according to this equation now, everything n, b and a it is constant, only this factor it is changing. This is changing with the rotation of the coil. So, the differentiation of cos omega t it is nothing but sin omega t multiplied by omega. Mathematically, the differentiation of a trigonometric function it is given by cos theta, it is differentiated with respect to time, it becomes sin theta into the differentiation of theta d theta upon dt, because theta is depending upon time t. So, it is omega here. So, induced EMF just becomes equal to NBA into omega into sin omega t. So, cos the differentiation of cos omega t it is nothing but minus sin omega t. So, two minus signs neutralize each other and hence the induced EMF takes this form. Except this sin omega t, all other terms are something which are constant for a coil, and the number of turns, the magnetic field remains constant, area vector it has fixed value area magnitude, and angular velocity which is also constant. The coil is supposed to be rotating at a constant rate. So, that means everything is constant. So, this is nothing but the maximum value of induced EMF. So, we can write it to be E naught, or we can say peak value of induced EMF multiplied by sin omega t. So, how the EMF which is induced in the coil changes, it depends upon the time at which we are recording the induced EMF. So, this is the third way in which the EMF can be induced, and it is by rotating the coil inside the magnetic field. So, that is all for now. Thank you.